Welcome back to the Ball Does Lie podcast. I'm your host, Amir. I'm here with my co-host, Brenden. And today we're going to talk about the Houston Rockets. And they've been really good this year, Brenden, so far. I know they're fifth in the West right now. They're 16-7. Very close race between the Nuggets, Lakers, Spurs, and Rockets. And the Rockets are such a good two-way team, man. Like, they're earning wide respect on their defense, and I think they're a legitimate contender. But I think there is one clear missing piece, and we want to talk about that in this episode. For me, I think it's a point guard. It's super unfortunate they lost Fred VanVleet to that ACL injury, and I think a championship run typically requires a consistent ball handler and creator, and they need someone who can control pace, initiate offense, handle full court defensive pressure, just break down defenses and set up Kevin Durant and Sengun and put them in the right spots. And right now, Houston's offense is third. Offensive rating, number 3. Defensive rating, number 3. They are amazing right now. So do you think the Houston Rockets can acquire someone by the trade deadline to fill that role? Or do you think they continue to focus internally on someone like Amen Thompson or Reed Shepard? Like, what can they do to fill that void this season?
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything they do this season. Then I think they are the third best team in the West, even though they are fifth in the standings. I think that game against the Nuggets was a pretty clear indicator that we could be headed for a Western Conference semis between those two teams. So I think the roster they currently have is good enough. I think this offseason they'll need to add a better point guard. Hopefully Fred VanVleet comes back healthy for them. I think he just opens up so much more for that offense. Because right now that offensive rating is interesting at 3 because they're not exactly the most elegant team to watch on the offensive side of the ball, but they're just going to bully you, grab every offensive rebound. Like I think their offensive rebound rate is like 49%, 50%. So they're grabbing damn near half their misses and getting more opportunities to score. Steven Adams has been incredible in that area. And they just have so many different options on the wing, whether it's Kevin Durant, whether it's Sengun, whether it's Jabari. They just have so much optionality offensively. They just need one more guy to, I think, initiate action, as you were saying. And Reed Shepard's been great for them. I don't think this is an indictment on Reed Shepard and his game, but he's just young. And I think kind of figuring out the game and the speed of the NBA at this point in his career. And if they just had, I really believe, if they had Fred VanVleet healthy this season, I think they're right there with OKC. That might be crazy to say, given how dominant the Thunder have been to start this season off. But I think that Nuggets game just showed me they're a legitimately great team and a great contender. And I think they're a second, third best team in the West, regardless of what their record or where they stand right now in that conference.
Yeah, for sure. They also just had a heavyweight battle with the Denver Nuggets a few nights ago in a controversial kind of game. Ime Udoka, I'm not sure if he's been fined yet, but he definitely will be. Basically, was critical of the officiating. He said, "This is the most poorly officiated game I've seen in a long time." And there was a tight battle where the teams went into overtime. They shot 59 free throws. There was just so many fouls, so many poor calls. I think on both ends. I mean, didn't Valanciunas and uh, Jokic got fouled out in the fourth
Yeah,
quarter, right?
Jokic did foul out.
Which is kind of crazy. So, what were your thoughts on that game? And was that kind of like a preview of a potential semifinal matchup in the Western Conference?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the game was as great of a game as that was. The end of the fourth quarter in OT was soured by the officiating. I think the one big call was the off-ball foul Amen Thompson got. They called him on some phantom tripping call. Went to
Before the
review.
inbound went in on Tim Hardaway.
Yeah, and upheld the call, which I thought was pretty crazy. I thought that shouldn't have been a whistle there, and you just
What's the
play
point
that
of
out.
reviewing? Let me ask you that. Like, what's the point of having replay? Like,
If you're gonna
and
get it wrong, it's pretty insane. I
why get it
don't.
wrong twice? Like, why get it wrong
Yeah,
twice? Like, that's such a bad look. Like,
it is,
unreal.
and I think Ime is right. It's a shame he's gonna get fined, but these refs need to be held accountable in some way. And that was a pretty egregious missed call, and then it just bled right into overtime. the calls were so inconsistent. Got really ticky tack in some areas, then they let them play in others. But that game itself, I don't want that ending to sour on what was just an incredible game, top to bottom. And I really hope we get that matchup in the playoffs, which it looks like we will. But those two teams are complete heavyweights. Jokic is an absolute animal, and watching him and Şengün battle it out was extremely fun. Şengün is just showing I think he's just destined to be a complete bona fide star in the league. Like, they were running all their actions through Şengün to end the game. I know there was I wouldn't agree with that last shot they got, the Şengün three. Would have loved to see Kevin Durant at least touch the ball there. But the fact that they have the confidence in Şengün to run everything through him and down these stretches is a pretty key indicator that they have a lot of belief and trust in him. And he's, I think, delivered on a lot and is a big reason why the Rockets are as good as they are.
For sure. The Rockets, again, I mentioned earlier, third in offensive rating, third in defensive rating. There's only two teams in the Western Conference that are top 10, let alone top 5 in both offense and defense. And that is obviously the Rockets and the Thunder. So I've mentioned this in other episodes. I'll keep mentioning this continuously. If you're a true NBA contender and if you're going to be an NBA champion, you need to be top 10 and top 5 typically, either in offense or defense. If you're both, then the likelihood of winning a championship is way higher, right? So the Nuggets, they're number one offensively, but they are not defensively. Let me look it up real quick. Nuggets are, where are they?
Yeah, they're down at 17 in defensive rating. So
17 in defensive rating, right? Like,
on the
so
bottom half of the league.
That plays a factor. I mean, they have Joker, like they'll have the best player on the court technically, but their defense, like, I think that is what makes the biggest impact. Like, obviously, Kevin Durant will say offense wins championships versus defense wins championships. You got to score more. Well, they have that guy on their team, plus one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. So, what jumps out to you about their defense? Is it effort? Is it switchability, versatility, or something else? Like, what is it?
Yeah, it's definitely their length, their versatility, switchability. When you have Amin Thompson being able to switch any on ball with KD, with Jabari Smith, they're suffocating. And then, once you get past that first level of the defense, right behind them, you have Steven Adams, arguably the strongest guy in the league, one of the best defenders, best rebounders. They're pretty complete. And I hate to keep picking on Reed Shepherd, but that seems to be the one spot that they can improve defensively. But again, they're top 3 in both those ratings. Their net rating is second behind Oklahoma City. Now, there is a big drop off between Oklahoma City and Houston in their net rating, but defensively, they're just completely suffocating. It's hard to imagine really scoring anything on them. So both them and Oklahoma City have incredible defensive different matchups that they can run with. And just their athleticism on the wings is so impressive. And any team that has to draw them, I think, is dreading just that 48 minutes of having to just bring the ball up the floor is such a challenge, let alone actually get into your actions. Yeah, I really hope we get to see this Nuggets Rockets just to keep going back to that. That game was so good the other night.
Yeah, baby Şengün, baby Joker.
Jokic.
Baby Joker with Şengün also was talking about, like, hey, I'm young, I don't get the calls. He probably didn't get those until he became a superstar, 3-time MVP. So, like, you have Joker Light with the Rockets. Like, that's a fun matchup to watch. And this Houston team is unreal, man. They're 4th in points per game. They're 1st in rebounding. Like, Steven Adams effect is a part of that. They're number 1 in offensive rebounding, obviously, because of a Steven Adams, but in all that length, of course. They have so many guys that can get rebounds, second chance opportunities. Their 3-point shooting is like their makes and attempts are on the lower end. Basically, they're 24th in 3-pointers made and 30th in attempted. So that could be some sort of Achilles because of the delta and differential of other teams maybe shooting more threes, making more threes. But here's the caveat to that, though. They're still 3rd in 3-point percentage, though. So even though they're not taking a lot and making a lot compared to other top teams in the West, they're still making the 3rd most amount of threes. So, like,
Still
obviously they have
efficient.
They're still wildly efficient. So they are a juggernaut. And are a true contender again. And it's unfortunate that, Fred VanVleet is injured, but I think you can overcome that. I still think you can overcome that just because they have so many good players. And then, Ime is one of the best all-around coaches, obviously defensive-minded coaches. His identity, is on the defensive end, and he's implemented that system for this team. And so we'll see. It's going to be fun. We're a fourth of the way done with the season at this point, and obviously I don't want it to go by too fast, but playoffs tell, and that's when the real season actually starts. And I'm excited to see this Houston Rockets team play against other juggernauts like the Nuggets, maybe even the Lakers.
And to see them at full strength too. Like they're getting Tara Eason, hopefully at the end of this month, in the next few weeks. Like inserting him back into the lineup gives them even more versatility defensively. So that they could be a really scary team. They still have another level I think they could unlock too.
What's his name? Isn't Finney-Smith on their team as well?
Yeah, Dorian Finney-Smith is also there. I mean, they just, it's almost an embarrassment of riches. He is out.
He hasn't played yet. Has he played this season?
He hasn't come out. I think January is when they're hoping he can make a season.
Are you
debut.
kidding me? He hasn't even played yet, and he's another 3-and-D. Like that's a guy the Lakers would want back.
It would be. It's almost like they should have kept him.
Yeah, they probably should have kept him. But like Finney-Smith hasn't even played yet. That's insane. I don't even know how they're going to incorporate him or when they would. But like that's unreal. Clint Capella's on this team. He's not even playing, and he's getting 4.6 rebounds per game, 0.7 blocks, and like 11 minutes off the bench. Like that's why they're number one in rebounding. Like you have Capella on the bench who like doesn't even get any like run, like which is crazy, right? Like how old is Clint Capella? He's like 31. He's still 31
years old.
Like, you know what I mean? Like he's not even playing more than 11 minutes a game. But in those 11 minutes, he's getting round up to 5 rebounds and like almost a block per game. He's another, guy in the dunker spot, rim protector, like lob threat for this team. Like
another great athletic big who
not even utilized. Not even like they don't even need him, essentially,
Yeah. You can have him just run for a good 10-minute stretch. It's an embarrassment of how many great defensive players they have.
And he'll impact the game still. Like what that also shows, if they have new injuries, like when Tari comes back and Finney-Smith comes back, then you let those guys obviously come in and play, but then you also have the Clint Capellas and whoever off the bench that can come in and contribute. So scary team. But anyway, that's all we have for this episode. Thank you for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel for more NBA content. Thank you, Brenden.
Thanks, Amir.